This 14-year-old Dave Filoni quote has me worried about Ahsoka Season 2. Executive Vice President and Chief Creative Officer of Lucasfilm Dave Filoni discussed one key aspect of Star Wars 14 years ago, and his comments have me a little concerned about Ahsoka Season 2. Ahsoka Season 2 is currently the only live-action project confirmed among Star Wars' upcoming TV shows, so it feels as though a lot is riding on it. Although details about Ahsoka Season 2 have remained tightly under wraps, as is typical in Star Wars, the Ahsoka finale did provide some insight into what this upcoming season could hold. From Ahsoka's possible reconnection with Anakin Skywalker's Force ghost to Thrawn's efforts to unite the Imperial Remnant. Those concepts are certainly exciting, but there's still so much we don't know. Now, one 14-year-old interview with Dave Filoni has me particularly worried about Ahsoka Season 2 because of his commentary on a critical aspect of Star Wars, although we've already forgiven Dave Filoni for it. As shared by Matt Polloy on X, 14 years ago, Dave Filoni expressed hesitancy about exploring politics in his Star Wars projects, pointing to the idea that fans weren't really interested in it. Specifically, Filoni said that one episode of Star Wars, The Clone Wars, worked because of the decision to. This quote comes from the behind-the-scenes featurette on The Clone Wars Season 3, which is particularly notable because it means this interview took place around the midway point of the show, a show which, notably, and by necessity, became more political toward its end. Eventually, The Clone Wars only had so much control over how political it needed to be, as it had to run right into Star Wars. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, one of Star Wars' most political installments. Yet, it is the context of the Star Wars prequel trilogy that makes the rationale behind Filoni's comments easy to understand. That is, one of the biggest complaints about the Star Wars prequel trilogy was its emphasis on politics. As The Clone Wars was released not long after the prequels, it makes sense that this criticism would be front of mind for Filoni. The notion that Star Wars fans wanted some zip was therefore likely dead-on accurate at the time. While this assessment may have been understandable 14 years ago, though, some worry that Filoni might have maintained this resistance to exploring the political, based on Ahsoka Season 1. In fact, many viewers found that Ahsoka Season 1's political scenes were a bit lacking at a time when they really needed to land. Ahsoka Tano is inarguably Filoni's brainchild, and he continues to define that character's story today. Given Ahsoka remains one of Star Wars' best characters and a beloved fan favorite, it's safe to say Filoni has done well with the character. Yet, Ahsoka's show proved disappointing for some, and not because of her. Specifically, some viewers felt that Ahsoka's political scenes were among the show's least compelling. This included the scenes involving the New Republic senators, who spent considerable time deliberating over the fate to be decided for Hera Syndulla, who had acted without the permission of the Senate. That was a shame, as politics should be at least a partial focus at this point in the Star Wars timeline. After all, with the Empire having fallen and the New Republic scrambling to pick up the pieces, quickly rebuild, and safeguard the future of the galaxy against lingering Imperial threats, this political landscape would be an interesting one. It's also a bit ironic, particularly given Grand Admiral Thrawn's own story in Timothy Zahn's Thrawn books, in which his own struggles with playing politics were at the fore. The humor of that aside, this has led to some concerns about what Ahsoka Season 2 could hold in terms of its story and its success. Dave Filoni has had an incredible influence on Star Wars, and I'm excited to see how he fleshes out Ahsoka's story, as well as the stories of characters like Sabine Wren, Ezra Bridger, and even Anakin Skywalker. Even with my adoration of Filoni, however, I can see that Ahsoka Season 2 really needs to bring someone politically minded onto the team. As mentioned, it's understandable, contextually, that Filoni was resistant to a deep dive into politics in the Clone Wars, and Filoni's interest is clearly having fun with the characters and the thrilling story opportunities this galaxy far, far away offers, the zip he referred to in that interview. However, Ahsoka Season 2 can't abandon politics. The criticism of Ahsoka Season 1 makes that clear, but Ahsoka will now be compared to another Star Wars show as well, and it has an uphill battle in that respect. And it proved to be one of Star Wars' best TV shows, and part of what made that show so successful was its brilliant exploration of politics in Star Wars. Revisiting that same irony, Dave Filoni could even take a page out of Thrawn's book here as he, too, needed to bring on political allies to achieve his aims. In fact, the combination of Filoni's creativity and depth of knowledge as George Lucas' protege with a political writer, perhaps even from Andor, would be brilliant. I'm not part of the cohort who thinks Dave Filoni has had any negative impact on Star Wars, far from it, but I do think Filoni recognizing his limitations here would be a positive thing. We already forgive and understand Dave Filoni's resistance to politics in Star Wars, but Ahsoka Season 2 really does need it.